Will AI replace Salesforce developers? Well, I think it depends on how long of the time horizon you're looking, actually. If you say in the next couple of years, I'm standing that it's going to be not the case, but if you say in the next 100 years, yeah, most likely it's going to be the case. Remember what jobs we had 100 years ago? Well, most of them don't exist now. I think the same is going to happen for the next 100 years. I stand that in the next 5 years, the Salesforce developers are fine. For the next 10 years, well, who knows. And for the next 20 years, most likely, yes. Most likely, Salesforce developers, in my opinion, will be gone in that form that we know now. So hi, my name is Igor. I am founder of Cloud Prism, where we teach Apex, and I've been working as a Salesforce developer for the last 4 years. And I've been using AI since the ChatGPT came out. I tried almost every tool on the internet that I could find, with the hope that it's gonna make me a little bit more productive in my job. So far, the best tool that I found that leverages AI for increasing productivity is GitHub Copilot. And yeah, ChatGPT also is kind of helpful, but also not that much of the helpful. So yes, AI is cool, AI is developing, AI is growing, and it's a miracle what we have now. It's a miracle that you can talk to a machine and machine will understand you in just normal English. But it's still not quite there yet. We still need a lot of advancement in order to replace developers. And I know it looks scary for people who are kind of coming from outside, who are looking at the developers and they're like, oh wow, developers write code, right? And now ChatGPT can also write code. It means that developers now are in danger. Well, this is a big misconception because developers don't write code. Developers solve problems. Coding is just a tool that we developers use to achieve our goals. And the coding is actually one of the easiest part of the Salesforce development. We code maybe like 20% of the job. All the other time we spend in meetings, testing, requirements, writing architecture, administration, speaking to the client, speaking to the team, and all the other stuff. Knowing what to code and how to deliver it, how to build the infrastructure, how to code in the way that it's gonna stay for the next 10 years and the system will not break once you have more than 100 users. That's the biggest challenge in Salesforce development, not the actual process of writing the code. If we had another tool that is better than coding, we would be using this tool. Don't tell me flows, because flows are still not quite there yet. Even more, the more senior you get, the less code you actually write. So people who stay for 10 years as Salesforce developers, chances are they kind of move into more architecture role than actually writing the code. Unless you enjoy the process of writing code itself, then of course you stay with writing code as much as you can because you enjoy this part and you get paid for that part as well. But for most developers who want to progress with a career with a different path through architecture, we don't really write that much of the code. And I would say I stopped somewhere here with the 4 years. I would say I had around 20% of the coding in my job left, and all the other stuff was speaking to the clients, writing architecture, solution design, and all that stuff. And it gets even worse once you're considered a senior developer. You're basically so valuable that writing code will be considered as a strange waste of the resources. And current AI systems, they can't even do that. So they can write simple code. They can find some kind of syntax errors. They can debug some small parts. But they cannot, and they don't have this overview of everything that happens in the system. So they cannot understand the whole business process chain that you have. They cannot understand in general the business of your client that you're coding. They cannot understand all your code base. So you cannot just go and say, hey, can you like refactor this whole code base? Usually they cannot do it because if you have a big enough code base, it's going to involve modifying a lot of classes, and they just cannot have the overview of everything so far, right? So if you look at these skills, it's pretty much high level skills. So as a Salesforce developer, you're going to need to speak to the clients, you're going to need to go to the stakeholders, you will need to consult with maybe some kind of business analysts, maybe with another developers. And then based on that, you can some kind of write a plan, and then you can execute on this plan, and then you can write the code. Those are really, really, really high level skills. And this is also why Salesforce developers and developers in general, they get paid very well, because this is a difficult job. And this is a job that involves a lot of different skills. Now, what current AI systems are missing? First of all, they are missing autonomy. You cannot go and say to the AI, hey, can you for me please write this trigger, then execute it, then test that it actually works, and write the test methods, and then write the documentation and notify me if it's done, or if you have some questions to me. You can't really do it. So AI will not go and do it itself, right? You still need a human in the loop. And we are moving towards AI system that can handle those things. But we're still not quite there yet, and it's still gonna take a little bit of time, or a couple of years of time, to get those autonomous systems. And even if we get the autonomous systems, we're gonna have a lot of increase in productivity, but that's still not gonna be enough. Another problem that those systems that we have now, they're just not smart enough. They cannot really comprehend the business. They cannot comprehend the whole complexity of your org. They cannot comprehend the business process that you're trying to solve. And part of it is because their context window is not that big. So you cannot feed into AI system your whole code base, because usually it's super huge. And especially if you count also the metadata. And most important, they are not multimodal. So they cannot experience the business, right? They cannot go and measure somehow how, for example, Coca-Cola delivered good or not good result in this quarter in terms of how they're positioned in supermarket, something like this. So they still like the business, the world understanding. The question is, can we solve those problems? And I mean people who work on the AI, right? I'm not working on the AI, I'm just Salesforce developer. I think yes, I think we can solve it. I think there's no restrictions fundamentally that is about computer brain versus biological brain that we have. So I think at some point we will get there. But to get there, we will need to develop something like artificial general intelligence, AGI. It's going to be able to perform tasks that most people or most developers can do, but most likely in a cheaper way or much more robust way. Once we can do that, we can take these AGIs or multiple AGI systems and let these systems to improve themselves. This is something that we humans can do, right? We cannot go and rewire our brain to work in a better way. Like if you want to quit smoking, you can't just rewrite part of your brain that is responsible for smoking. But AGI would be able to do that. So there's a theory that the jump from the AGI to ASI, the superhuman intelligence, will be rather quick. So what I think that we will be able to automate Salesforce developers, but only if we get the AGI. And if we get the AGI, all the other jobs will be gone already. Jobs like, for example, Salesforce admins, Salesforce business analysts, all of that will be automated way before Salesforce development. And if Salesforce developers are already gone, it's hard to imagine what other jobs will be left. There definitely will be some jobs left. Those things, for example, as agriculture or apparel, they always gonna exist, right? But the same way as it was hard to imagine 50 years ago what it means to create YouTube videos, the same way now it's hard to imagine what's gonna be once we automate those developer jobs. So what can you do as a Salesforce developer? How can you prepare for that? Well, the way I prepare is by just leveraging AI whenever I can and learn AI tools, following AI news, following what are the other tools, what are the advancements. Because in the shorter term, if we speak about the next 5 or 10 years probably, we will be getting as developers a lot from AI, and we will not be at risk by the AI. But if we speak about the longer time horizon, yes, that's most likely. And I would be really, really glad if we as a developers could automate our job, because then we can just build easily software and go enjoy the sun on the street instead of small screens in our rooms. Thank you, and see you in the next one.